We're live.
All right. Yep. So for a lot of girls like me, our first periods definitely came with our moms handing us menstrual products kind of like they were smuggled goods, making sure our brothers didn't really know what was going on. And we hid our pads into socks and backpacks. We had to ignore the cramps and tie our sweaters around our waist to kind of hide the blood stains, and even tuck tampons up our sleeves on our way to the bathroom. And even in the commercials for menstrual products, no one ever really said the word period. So I guess the message was clear: to keep menstruation hidden, no matter how normal or natural it may be. Having your period was something to be ashamed of. My name is Nupur Huria. I'm 18 years old from Michigan in the United States, and I'm very excited to be here representing Pinkish Foundation through PinkTalk International. And today I'm here with Sana and Rebecca from MENSEN, an organization from Sweden. MENSEN works to combat period poverty and raise awareness about the importance of menstrual health. In 2017, they launched the project, the Period Megaphone, which enables youth to gain knowledge about menstrual health. Sana is the project manager of the organization, and Rebecca is the organizational strategist. And we're very excited to have you guys here with us today. So, just to start off, can you tell us a little bit about yourselves and your organization?
Yeah, we're really happy to be here, and thanks for inviting us. My name is Rebecca Hallenkreitz, and I'm one of the co-founders of MENSEN, and we started in 2014. We're almost 8 years old. And yeah, I've been involved ever since, and I've been employed for 4 years. Yeah, and this is the best job in the world.
And my name is Sanna Vanno, and I am, as you said, the project manager of one of our projects that communicates with children about menstruation. So that is pretty good also. I started my journey in MENSEN as a board member, but now I'm an employee, and I have been that for 2 years or something. I also like the job a lot.
Yeah, and about MENSEN, we're a Swedish non-profit, and our goal is to create an equal society where every menstruating person has their basic needs met, which is access to period products and knowledge about menstrual cycle and the body and how it works, and menstrual infrastructure, which means to have access to good toilets and clean water and soap, somewhere to throw away used period products, and also supportive social norms around menstruation.
Yeah, that's really cool. So what kind of inspired you guys to work towards this cause?
For me, it started after I finished my bachelor in global studies, and yeah, the summer after I finished, I realized that no teacher or one of my co-students had ever brought up menstruation as an aspect of or an obstacle in development issues, and we talked about everything else, about sanitation and sexual and reproductive health, and toilets, gender equality, but nothing about menstruation. And I thought it was weird that I hadn't thought about it myself, being a person who has periods sometimes. Like, I know how much good products and knowledge and good infrastructure, toilet infrastructure means. So yeah, it was just like a revelation that, like, wow, I made this so invisible to myself, and this is the case in all of society, I would say. So it began there for me.
And for me, I've been involved with sexual and reproductive health and rights as a whole before, and I just found menstruation as a subject within that field and liked it a lot, and I like to talk about those things with children. So I try to do that as much as I can, and that is right to good to speak about menstruation with young children.
Yeah, definitely. I personally feel that I'm really lucky to kind of grow up in a community and household where the access to menstrual products and education like wasn't really a struggle to attain. And it's crazy to think that in India, especially girls miss at least 6 days of classes each month due to the shame surrounding their periods or a lack of products. And I feel that this contributes to the number of girls in India who drop out of school each year, which is around 23%. And luckily, this number has reduced over the past few years. So I guess in Sweden, how do you think the general negative views on menstruation have impacted education for the young menstruators there?
Want to start by telling about our
Yeah.
survey?
Yeah. We actually did a national survey this spring, where 750 respondents between 16 and 21 years old answered the questions. And in that survey, we found that more than half of the children said that they did not have enough knowledge about menstruation when they got their first one. And they also said that they want to talk about menstruations and they want to get the knowledge from the schools, but often they get the information from their mothers and sometimes from fathers, but mostly mothers. And I think that this is something that puts the spotlight on that this is a problem, that we see menstruation as a private matter and something that we should talk about in the home and only with our family.
Yeah, and mothers to daughters.
Yeah. We don't see menstruation as a subject where we can have like general knowledge. We talk more about experiences, and you only know your own experiences, but you should know more about the big variation in the menstruation. So in Sweden, we are very open and talk a lot about menstruation, and we have a lot of menstruation. We have paintings of menstruation in the subway and so on. But still we don't talk about the facts of menstruation. And that is a problem, especially for children, because children get worried about being normal, and they don't know if this is as it should be, and they worry a lot when they shouldn't. So that is a big problem in Sweden, at least.
Yeah, and we also found in this survey, because we looked at like how common is period poverty, how do you feel, are you comfortable talking to a teacher or a colleague about if you have any questions about menstruation, how do you feel about buying period products, and we could see that like period poverty isn't that common, because Sweden is we have a strong welfare state, so it's it exists, but it's not that common that you can't afford products at all. But the problem is more the taboo that you don't have enough when you're young. You don't want to ask someone about it. You're ashamed buying products, and they have period products in some schools and some workplaces, but it's still not standard, and this creates like a spiral that you might stay home from school or or work because you're worried you're going to bleed through, or not going to have the chance to change your period products. And yeah, like Sanna said, it's especially among young children who haven't had their first period. They're so concerned and worried and have 1,000 questions. You know where to answer, and they're so scared they're going to get their first period when they're in school. And this takes up a lot of energy to think about and worry about instead of concentrating in school.
And also this problem when people maybe live with only their father, and fathers doesn't talk to their children about menstruation, and they are so scared to get their first menstruation when they are at their father's. But fathers can also give you a pad, so
Yeah.
It should be like that.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, what you were talking about starting their first periods in school, I think a big part of that is also I guess the accessibility to like having those products at school available to them. So how would you say over there like the price and accessibility of products compares to other sanitary products such as like toilet paper or just general other sanitary products that are used?
It's pretty much the same here, and it's also taxed the same. So it's not like an unfair period tax that I know is the case in some countries, states, where it's taxed as a luxury item compared to like condoms or Viagra that's tax free. It's pretty much the same level.
That's good. That's really good to hear that it's not with some type of luxury or unfair tax. Yeah.
But we
So
think
I
it should
remember.
be free.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Definitely. Definitely free. Yeah. Yep. So I remember in school when we were kind of first introduced, like what periods were, we had this whole talk in the 5th grade, and then they never spoke about it again. The whole thing.
Oh wait, now your sound is off.
There we go. Okay. But yeah, what I was saying was we kind of were just talked about it once in 5th grade and then never mentioned again. It was crazy. But so none of us really kind of, I guess, knew what it was and what was happening inside our body when a menstruation was taking place. And we'd kind of just, deal with it and hide it. And so there's definitely that taboo that you were talking about. But I guess the goal here would kind of be how to figure out how to get rid of that. So if you guys are comfortable with answering, have you had any firsthand experience facing menstrual stigma or, seeing someone face that stigma? And if so, how did you end up dealing with it?
I think we have pretty similar experience as you, that you had once or twice in school in biology class, and often it's at the same time as you talk about reproduction, and we always argue that you need knowledge about period and period products, and to feel safe when you get your first one, and then you have to start when they're really young, and periods is so much more, and the menstrual cycle, than just reproduction. And most menstruators get their first period before they start thinking about sex, and getting pregnant. So we think that menstruation should be like its own subject, not just a subcategory to
maybe not their own subject, but with the physiology overall.
Exactly, and like start normalizing it early and talking about it, and like tell kids where they can find period products and how to use a pad or a tampon, or like try do some experiments with tampons and see how much they can absorb. So it's not just some weird product they've never seen or touched before, so they're really comfortable using.
And also talk to both girls and boys, because
yes, definitely.
Boys also need to know this information, because they will have sisters, they will have mothers, they will have girlfriends and friends who menstruate, and they need to know what it's all about.
Yeah, the basics.
Yeah.
So I say that I have experienced like hands-on stigma, but it's more this general sense that this is embarrassing and something I shouldn't talk loud about, maybe to some close girlfriends, but showing or accidentally like having a pad in your bag and someone would see it would be the worst ever when I was in school.
Yeah. And I haven't had any first-hand stigma either, but I would say that the myths about menstruation can affect you, because I remember when I got my first period when I was 11 years old, I got so sad and I cried and cried and cried because I thought, not because I got the menstruation and the period, but because I thought I wouldn't get any taller, because I've heard that you stop growing and I didn't want to be that short.
That's a really interesting myth, because we're not from the same city. But me and my friends were so sure that after you got your period, you grew 7 centimeters more, and that's it. Which, like, it's not true.
No,
at all. But yeah.
Yeah, but I was so sad about that. But when I realized it was not true, I calmed down.
So relieved.
Yeah, so it was no big problem, but it can still affect children.
No, yeah.
If you're 11 years old, that is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And implementing more of menstrual health into the education system. I think over here too, that's something that should really be worked on. Yeah. So I guess in terms of MENSEN, what do you think makes your organization different from other ones? Like, what makes it special?
Do you mean different from international organizations, or?
Yeah, no, in general, just everywhere. Like,
Because
special
Sweden is
projects
quite
being
small,
done.
tiny country. We're like the only Swedish.
Yeah, but we are also special because we are the only, in Sweden, we are the only organization that works with menstruation on such a large scale, as our only focus is menstruation and periods and menstruation health, but we also covers it from period products, knowledge, and also norms and that infrastructure that Becca talked about before. So we covers menstruation from a lot of different angles at the same time. And there are a few other organizations that have more focus on knowledge or more focus on pads and
period poverty, and they usually have a different main subject, but that's just one part of their, like, homeless shelters sometimes have a specific initiative about fundraising to buy period products, but that's just like a small part of.
So we are a little bit more covers it all.
We're just everything periods.
Yeah, no, definitely. Reading about how you guys were tackling advocacy, education, and stigma, that was really cool. And for those of you watching, I really recommend checking out their website. It was a really interesting read, everything that was on there. Really enjoyable and interesting to see. And I think that there are so many daunting parts of period poverty and stigma, but there's been some hope over the past few years. I feel like things have gotten better. I know in India in 2017, the Indian government labeled menstrual products as luxury goods. But quickly after this announcement, the community really connected and worked together to campaign against it. And in July of 2018, the government then actually removed the luxury tax and made sanitary products more accessible to especially low-income households. So with all these nonprofits and advocacy campaigns popping up around the country and around the world, it's really exciting to see the talk around menstruation become a lot more open. So over the past few years, have you seen the fight for menstrual equity change in Sweden? And if so, how has it changed?
Oh yes, I think it's changed so much since I was. Well, I'm not gonna say I was the first, or we were the first activists at all, but we compared to when we started 8 years ago, and compared to now, it's a huge difference in regards to how people respond to when you tell them what we do. I don't have to explain for 20 minutes what it's about. People know, okay, endometriosis, I heard about that. Menstrual health, and It's a lot more mainstream and a lot of, it's gotten a lot of media coverage. So it's not, something really weird and icky anymore.
Yeah.
And
they talk
people
about
think it's
menstruation. They talk about menstruation on the news sometimes. And we have the period paintings in the subway, as I said before, and menstruation is a phenomenon
Yeah, and I think people
in the society.
more recognize that even if Sweden is a really rich country and we have a lot to be grateful for, we still have problems and obstacles that we need to address when it comes to menstrual health and period poverty.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that one huge event that we can, I guess, all agree on that has had a major impact lately on all of us is definitely COVID. It was such a crazy thing and everything's constantly changing. And I think a lot of us have personally changed with it. So like, how do you guys think that the recent COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the access to menstrual product? And what do you think that we can do to help those seeking menstrual health access?
In Sweden, we don't think that, as we have seen, there have not been so many additional problems for menstruators because of COVID-19. Here we haven't had any lockdowns or other big societal restrictions or...
Well, we have them, but it hasn't been as serious in some countries where you could go outside for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we have always been able to go to the store, and
it's great to hear. That's definitely
so it's pretty luxury.
Yeah, we're lucky compared to
so in that case, we don't think that there has been so much problems with that, but of course, there will be individuals who have lost their job and because of that have problems buying period products and so on. And also that the healthcare system have been under a lot of pressure because of COVID-19. So probably there have been like people maybe postpone their seeking help things, and maybe also it's a little bit harder to get the help you want from the healthcare system. But in general, we haven't seen any big problems due to COVID-19 in Sweden, at least. But still, I think the solution is to still talk about menstruation, because people menstruate and have periods even during a pandemic. So just keep on talking about it and keep on trying to get everything together, pads as they want, and tampons.
No, that's great. That's really great to hear. So overall, like over the past few years of your guys' experience in this cause, do you have any advice for young women or advocates who are seeking support from others for their menstrual health advocacy efforts?
Well, we think it's always good to network, reach out to people with the same interest and involvement in these issues, and share experiences, and empower each other, because sometimes it can feel like a struggle, and you need some what's the English word for pep?
I don't know. You need to
cheered on.
Yeah.
You're doing something good and you're creating change. Sometimes you have to think about it in the long run and not just see the shorts.
Definitely.
And I also think that we are a pretty warm community, the menstruation community in globally. I think that people are very kind to each other, and we want to help each other, and we are all colleagues in some way and want to help each other. So I think that just like we reach out to each other, we should continue doing that and make alliances.
Share the same goals, so you can get so much inspiration, tips on, like, if we talk to an organization in another country and ask, how did you do to campaign around period products in schools?
And as we do now, we can look at other countries where they have made period products more accessible for school people who go to school and so on, and we can see, oh, that is a way to do it, and maybe it's not a tax here in Sweden because we don't have this luxury tax and so on.
Right.
So that is great. Just find your tribe.
Yeah.
No, definitely branching out to other people, getting ideas, encouraging them. That sounds really great. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's always good to, it's like a tiny practical tip, but sign up on newsletters from organizations
right.
with menstrual equity, and look at webinars or podcasts and stay updated on research.
No, yes, definitely looking at, there's a broad amount of resources, I think, online, especially now that we have all of this, making it really easy. And I think, refining that community, it's just become a lot more simple, especially with social media and everything else that we have. So for your guys' organization, do you have any projects or events that we should look from you for the future? And what's next, pretty much?
Well, we are planning to campaign around free period products in schools. We hope that eventually it's going to be a law, but we're going to start from like the bottom to the top and make sure that as many schools as possible provide this, and then eventually it's going to be like a momentum, and then politicians are going to see that this is something students want, so we should make it into a law. Yeah, but it takes a while usually to change the law.
Definitely, that is something that we are also trying to get done here in the States. But
you know it's possible.
Yes, it very much is possible. It very much is possible. We're doing our best to get there. So
we're gonna continue with
our project where we make material about periods for people, whether they have a visual impairment or are at the autism spectrum or something like that. So the period information and the knowledge about menstruation should be accessible for everyone, and that is something we work on right now, which is very interesting and fun, I think.
And it's really needed. We found during when we researched before we started the project, we found that there wasn't like any good material for girls with autism, and that group has a lot lower knowledge level because the available material isn't available to them to understand. So it's noticed
it's not accessible.
Yeah, it's been really appreciated when we've posted about it on social media. A lot of like teachers and personal assistants been like, yeah, great, finally.
Yeah,
I missed this kind of
and also parents.
Missed this material.
I think it's great that you guys are kind of tackling all groups. I think a lot of groups that do menstruate are often overlooked. So I really think that it's cool that you guys are doing that. So we do look forward to seeing all those things. And I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. I hope everyone watching learned and enjoyed as much as I did talking to Sana and Rebecca. Do you guys have any closing remarks or anything like that?
We should prepare like a really good punchline.
A slogan or something.
Keep fighting for menstrual equity together.
Keep on talking about menstruation. I think that is the way to go.
Yes.
We're
in together, menstrual activists. And wants to know more about us or what we do, please look at our webpage or get in touch.
Definitely. It was really great connecting with you guys, and really nice meeting you as well. We look forward to doing more things with you guys in the future. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Do we